Alright guys, we got our clearance. Let's get out of here. Alright guys, we're getting outside the airspace and microphones are coming on. And welcome to the beautiful island of Kauai. So the island is about 25 miles across from one of the smaller Hawaiian islands, and that's why I love this tour so much. There's just so much to see in such a small amount of area. That's just one beautiful thing after the next. And so, what we're doing is we're going from the east side of the island. We're going to go westbound. We're going to go all the way to the west side, and then we're going to come all the way back here to the east side. And that way we get a really nice view for the island. And we're going to be spending most of our time in the mountains. And that's because there's really no other way to see the mountains. They're beautiful. There's waterfalls and everything tucked into the interior, but if you can see by all the topography, it's really, really steep. The jungle's really, really thick, and so it's really, really, really hard for us to navigate the island on our own. There's lots of hiking, and if you guys like hiking, I strongly encourage it. I love hiking across the island, but the hiking barely scratches the surface. There's just so much more to see that we can't get to, and so the only real way to see the island is from the sky. And so you guys are doing it right. We're going to see as much as we possibly can, and go to the west side, and then we'll come back to the east side and take two different routes. And so we're just going to go all the way around this island, and it's a beautiful day. You guys picked a great day. Clouds are high, the sun is out. We had some rain showers last night, so there's lots of waterfalls all across the island. And so right over this ridgeline is going to be our first spot. We're going to go to Hanapepe Valley. And Hanapepe, the whole entire valley is privately owned. It's kind of old money. There's no way that you would sell anything like this today, so I just don't think the state would allow it. But since they bought it hundreds of years ago, it's theirs. They just passed it down generation to generation. And they haven't done anything to the valley. But the one thing that they did do is in the 90s they built a helipad right at the base of one of their waterfalls. And the reason that they did this is because Steven Spielberg was in town. He was filming the Jurassic Park movies, and he really wanted to get a shot of a helicopter landing by a waterfall. And he got the shot that he wanted, and I think it was a big shot of the movie, and I'm just really glad that I get to show it to you. And Steven Spielberg with the little movie magic, he really made it seem like dinosaurs belong here, and so you'll really see that when we get into this valley. You'll see the magic come alive. But we're doing the same thing that they did in the movie. We're in a helicopter, we're going to descend down to the valley, we're going to turn around the corner, and right at the back is going to be Jurassic Falls, and that's the waterfall they landed at for the movie. Of course, that's not its real name. Its real name is Manawaiopuna, but we all nicknamed it Jurassic Falls, and it's a beautiful waterfall. I just love the way that the water cascades over the rock. But we've made it to our first spot. This is Hanapepe, and we're going to kick things off here. Let's go check out some waterfalls. So that is Jurassic Falls. So when you look at the waterfall just right, and you can see rainbows in it. So this is Hanapepe, and if you follow the valley all the way to the back of that mountain with the cloud right over the top of it, that's Mount Waialaealii. That is the volcano that created the island. And the last time it erupted was 5 million years ago, and so we don't really have a volcano here. It's extinct. There's no lava on this island. But what we have left over is a really beautiful crater. So at the end of the tour, we're going to fly right into the crater. So that'll be our grand finale. Until then, we'll just work our way all the way around it. But all the islands here, they're created from volcanoes. Some of the islands are created by multiple volcanoes. They're created just by one, and they start at the base of the ocean floor. It's just layer upon layer of volcanic rock that forms the island. So essentially, we're just a hunk of rock in the middle of the ocean. But when the islands first formed, there's nothing here. There's no plants and animals because it's hot lava. There's no topography because it looks like a little dome or hillside in the middle of the ocean. They're known as shield volcanoes because it resembles a shield. Everything that you're seeing here happens from water erosion, just millions and millions of years of water flowing over the rock, not being able to soak into it, so just sliding off the rock face. And working its way down to the lowest point in the watershed, which is the ocean. And eventually making an impact on the rock and carving out everything that you see. So that's why we have these really sharp ridges, we've got all the creases and nooks and crannies. That's why you can't compare the islands. They're all just in different stages. We're just lucky that we're one of the older ones, so we've got a lot of really fun topography to show you. And now that we're really up on top of the at the bottom of every single canyon. You'll see a little stream, and they are the culprits. Doesn't look like they could possibly have carved out this whole entire place, but they have. It didn't take a lot of water, it just took a lot of time. This type of volcanic rock's more brittle, so it's eroding at a faster rate. And also in the rock you can see a little bit of iron. That's all the red hue around here. The iron itself is rusting, which I think is incredibly cool. And that's how Waimea received its name, Waimea, and Wai means reddish water. So when it rains, reddish water comes spilling off the canyons. And it's also one of those unintentional souvenirs that you'll take with you if you're hiking up here in this area. This red dirt gets all over everything. Trust me, white-soled shoes are now patchy red. And we're the only canyons in the islands, but there's a couple towns named Waimea. There's one in, well, we have a Waimea town here, but there's also one on Oahu, Big Island. And you can come up to the canyons by going to the town of Waimea and going up the road along Waimea Canyon. So there's hiking and viewpoints. If you continue on that road, it'll take you right to the backside of the Na Pali Coast. So you can hike up there and do viewpoints. It's a fun drive, and I'll point it out to you. This spot right here, this is one of my favorite spots in the canyons. This is Wailai. From the walls, you can see all the striations where every layer of volcanic rock stacked to form the island. So the islands weren't formed through aggressive eruptions, but mainly just like a pot on the stove that was overboiling time and time again, so just one layer upon the next. And so the cycle of an island is it gets built up and then it starts eroding away like you're seeing here, and then eventually falls so far away that it just falls right back into the ocean. And so that's what eventually will happen to Kauai. It'll just completely disappear. The hot spot in the tectonic plate that has been making the islands have been making them for a really long time, because the Hawaiian Islands are the last 8 in the chain, but there's 135 more islands out there spanning across the Pacific Ocean, and most of them have fallen right back into the ocean, and so there's not much left, just little reef systems there, but it's kind of fun to think about. The Waimea Canyon here, this is a little state park, and then right behind it, and this area back here, this is also state park. This is Koke'e. So the road will take you all the way back here, so there's camping and hiking and adventure to be had on the ridges, and so it'd be fun if you guys have time for it. But the Na Pali Coast is right over this ridge, so that's our next spot. We're gonna descend down, we're gonna start checking that out, which is really fun. But the Na Pali Coast is a wilderness reserve, so it's not a state park, but they're pretty much the same, but different in little ways. So the Na Pali Coast is about 17 miles of coastline and 6,000 acres, and it's surrounded by state parks. There's one on the west side, there's one on the north shore, and there's 2 behind it. So it's not easy to get out here, and it's not going to get easier, which is great. So we're going to keep this area really, really beautiful. And so to see the Na Pali Coast, you can go by helicopter or by boat. But we're not allowed to take people down there, so if you want to set foot on the Na Pali Coast, you can. It's a public property, but you have to hike in or kayak in. Both are not easy. It's rather tricky. The hike at the in, and then you have to hike out, so it's about 22 miles. And then to kayak, you pretty much have to do the whole coast, and that's just because you don't want to turn around and battle the currents on the way back. So you start on the north shore, you get picked up on the west side. And so the road up here will take you around to this ridge. So this is Kalalau Valley, and this is where the viewpoint is. And Pali in Hawaiian means cliffs, so these are beautiful sea cliffs. And it's about time that we explore this area. So welcome to the Na Pali Coast, guys. These ridges are pretty rare to find anywhere else in the world, and it's because it takes a lot of water and a lot of time. It's water streaming from the inside of the island out rather than the ocean eroding away. Of course the ocean's eroding away a little bit, but all these pillars that you see here, they're caused from water streaming from the back and constantly changing course, looking for the avenue of least resistance, and just leaving all these structures. Everything on our left side, all these pillars, these are known as the cathedrals, and they're probably our most famous. They're the tallest, the sharpest, the thinnest, and they're just beautiful. I just love this whole coastline here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the coast a little ways, and then I'm going to turn back and come the other way. We'll get a really nice view of everything. We have an island off our north shore, and that's the island of Niihau. Right here you can see in front of us there's a reef sticking up out of the water. That is the Li'i. And you can see all the little boats around there. That's a little area that if you come out here on a boat, that they'll take you snorkeling. Most of these valleys were used for agriculture, so at the bottom you might see some terraces left over from the Hawaiians. This one right here, this is Awa'awapuhi. And you can also hike up along the top of the rim. And then the one on the other side, this one right here is Nu'ulolo, and you can hike up along the rim up there as well. This right here is Honopu. This used to be an ancient burial ground on the Hawaiians. Not just any burial ground, this is the burial ground for their kings and queens. And you can look for the graves, you won't find them. They're all unmarked. They're still down there. They just didn't want anyone knowing where the graves were. They didn't want anyone digging them up, disturbing them. Like, who would want that? And they also believe that there's a lot of power in the bones, so they didn't want anyone possessing those. And so this is the perfect spot. Not only is it beautiful, but it is remote and it's still very much isolated from the rest of the world. So this beach right here, this is Kalalau Beach. That is the end of the hiking trail, and so that's where the camping is. So the only way to hike in is to acquire camping permits, because it takes too long. All the rock structures are right behind it. These are the cathedrals again. bottom of the cliff right here, you can see that little line. That's a hiking trail, and so the hike is not easy. It's actually kind of dangerous. Most of our hikes here are like that, though. They're right on cliffside, but this one's a particularly special beast. I think that's why people like it. It's not easy. So in the walls here you can see all these sea caves. The sea caves. Since we're an older island, they do not go back that far, but they're kind of fun, and boats will take you in and out of them. This beach right here, this is Hanapepe Valley. This is the 2-mile mark of the hike in. You can see the trail there. It's easier, it's wider. You don't feel like you're falling off the mountain. So this is a fun day hiking. After this is when things get serious, and we need hiking permits. But to hike on this first part of the trail, you need a parking permit. I know there's a lot of permits, but it all makes sense. This ridge right here with the little spikes marks the end of the Na Pali Coast. That's nicknamed Bali High. And we are gonna do one more spin, and then we'll continue around the island. There's a wide angle, so you can see all the ripples that make it so famous. How beautiful this whole entire coastline is. Right at the bottom of this ridge, you can see that parking lot. That's the state park on the North Shore. And this is our beautiful North Shore. This is the wet side of the island. It's kind of hard to tell today because it's so beautiful out. As soon as winter rolls around, that's our wet season. You'll tell the difference. This on all islands, there's great surfing on the North Shore. So this is the North Shore. So we've got great surfing here. This W-shaped reef system. This is named tunnels. And some fun surfing here, but it's summertime, so the waves are smaller, so there's not too many surfers out. But there are some kite surfers and wind surfers down there. At our 3 o'clock's another parking lot. That's a parking lot for this area. The dip in the beach. It's kind of hard to get parking here, so if you do want to come out here, come out early. But since this whole area right here, this is Hana, the town of Hana, is pretty much vacation rentals and second homes. The beach is always very, very calm, so this is a fun area to start exploring. You can park and walk down the beach and go anywhere you want. As far out in the distance as we can see that rock that's sticking out, that is Kilauea. That's where the lighthouse is, and so that's a fun trip if you're looking for things to do. Closer and to the right is Princeville. So not too much beach there. Lots of fun little tide pools. There's one that's called Queen's Bath that's worth exploring. It's a pretty popular attraction, and some like turtle caves. There's just so much to do right in front of Princeville. And then right next door to it is the Hanalei Bay. Hanalei Bay, all beach. It's tucked into the island, so it's protected from the current. So it's a perfect swimming spot. And that's why all those boats are tied up in there, because it's really safe in that little cove. The beach wraps all the way around the interior, so it's about 2 miles of beach. And the town can get congested. And when it does, I try to avoid it. But not the beach. You can always grab food at the food carts, go down to the beach. That was where you want to be and just hang out there. It's a fun spot. But from here, we're cutting right back into the island. We're going to go explore some more of the interior. This beach that we're going to pass over, this is Lumahai. This is one of the only beaches that's not protected by a reef system on the outside, so the waves hit a little harder. So no one really swims at the beach underneath us, but they'll swim at the river. It's coming off the mountains. Most of our beaches have some sort of freshwater access, and so there's all that water coming down. They get kind of the best of both worlds. I have a couple of dogs, and so I like walking the beach, and they love the fresh water, so they get to be on the beach, they get to play in the river. It's a good time had by all.
Island blossoms everywhere. Have you felt?
Over 90% of the island is completely empty, and you can tell that from this angle. We've got vast mountains and little towns. I like it on the North Shore because the towns are tucked up against the mountains, and I love the mountains.
Nothing in the world can compare. This is aloha. This is aloha. This is aloha. This land of harmony.
This big waterfall in the back, this is Untitled. This is one of our highest flowing waterfalls. If you count from the top all the way to the bottom, about 4,000 feet. And you'll see this if you drive into the North Shore, unless the clouds in the way. It's always back here. We might have a few bumps in here. Just an hour ago there was a little updrafts and downdrafts, but I'll try to keep it as smooth as possible if it can be avoided. There's three main valleys that make up the North Shore: Waimea, Lumahai, and Hanalei. This is Hanalei Valley. It's one of my favorite valleys streaking across the island. And this whole area is a forest reserve, so it's about 15,000 acres of protected public land. And a lot of our indigenous plants on the island are also endemic, so they grow only here and nowhere else in the world. And so it's protecting a lot of our unique and rare plants, and also the watershed. Since it's the west side, you'll see little waterfalls all over the place in between all the cracks, just so We're just in here. There's since we're one of the west spots in the world, we're also one of the greenest, so you can see all the different shades of green we have in here. The lime green from the ferns. We've got a lot of different ferns here. We've got ground ferns, we've got tree ferns, we've got ferns that grow on trees, we have ferns that are so large they collapse under their own weight. We have ferns that look like palm trees that are called umbrella ferns, so a little bit of everything there. The dark green trees that you see the most prevalent everywhere, those are orchia trees. Those are native. And they are one of the first ones that grow right on volcanic rocks, so they break it down so that everything else can grow here. So they're really important to the ecosystem. The light green trees that look like lime green at the bottom that kind of really stick out, those are kukui nuts. Those are also another plant brought by the Hawaiians. The Hawaiians brought a lot of plants when they came over. And the Hawaiians came over from Polynesia. It's about a 2,000-mile outrigger canoe ride, which is insanely impressive. To navigate out here, the confidence, the ability, they're fantastic navigators, but also really smart with agriculture and fishing, and they knew that there might not be anything on this island to sustain them, so they brought everything that they needed with them. And all those plants are known as the canoe plants. So they brought taro, breadfruit, yams, and sweet potato, and also those kukui nuts.
Then we'll know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me. Way up high, and the dreams that you dare to, why, oh why can't I,
This mountain at the back, and this is Mount Waialeale. The top's up around 5,148 feet. It's just the perfect altitude for attracting moisture. That's why I can never really see the top. It's always shrouded in clouds. I like it. It adds to its mystery. This is the very center of the volcano. This is where the lava actually escaped from. And up top is just kind of like a big marshy area, and so it gets so saturated that when it rains, all these waterfalls start pouring down. It's kind of nice. We have a nice little light coming down the middle of it. This crater's huge, just for a little reference. These are giant trees on the walls, not ferns or moss. So we're just a speck in this thing, so we're gonna go right into the center of the Mount Waialeale crater. So that's our grand finale. That's our crater. I can't really beat that. It's just so beautiful in there, so that's why we save it for last. But before we head back, let's go around the corner and let's see if there's some waterfalls in the back. This area on the other side of it is called Waiahi. I haven't been back here yet today, so I do not know if there's any waterfalls. Of course, those are always changing. But the ridge line that we took off on is right in front of us. And we jumped right over that edge, so right in the back side here is Hanapepe. That's the first valley that we went into, so we've gone all the way around the island.
There's a place I recall, not too big, facts kind of small. The people there know they got it all. The simple life for me. Helio to Kauai, Hanalei by the Bay, Wailua River Valley is where I used to play. The canyons of Waimea, standing all alone. The magic of the garden now is calling me back home. When I was young, not too smart, I left my home looking for a brand new start, to find a place that's better still. Now I know I never will. Heli to Kauai.
Well, it is time to head on back. I know we can stay out there all day. There's always something new to look at.
Canyons of Waimea, standing all alone. The magic of the garden now, calling me back home. Helio to Kauai, Hanalei by the Bay.
Oh, sorry, it's really flat everywhere around us. This is, a lot of it is zoned for agriculture, so it's a lot of farmland. We've got coffee fields down south, we've got chocolate here on the east side, we've got a lot of cattle, tropical fruit in the interior right here. So it's one of the ways that our island stays small. We don't really want to develop more. We don't want condos and houses everywhere, so we keep all this lands up for agriculture, and that doesn't happen. We'll see how long we can hold out for. We've got another crater right over here. This is Kilohana, but that's not the center. Of course, there's multiple areas in which lava escapes, so you can kind of see the dip of it, and you can compare that as a huge crater, but nothing compares to Mount Waialaealii. It's just enormous. And we've got about 73,000 people living here all on the coastline, so relatively small. All across the island you'll see solar panels. There's some coming up right in front of us. The whole island is going green, which is fantastic. We'll be running 100% off solar energy soon enough. One of our biggest resources, the sun. We have a lot of water. You guys saw the rivers. It's just really hard to harness it. We have like right now 11 or 13 mini hydro plants around the island, but it just can't produce the amount of energy that we need. So, and the problem also with being an island state is we can't share resources. Everyone has to be completely sufficient on their own. And so we burn a lot of fossil fuels. Problem is we don't really have coal on the island, so they have to import it. So it can get really expensive. But this is our piece of paradise. But you guys picked out a few areas that you want to explore more. There's lots of things to do: zip lining, paddleboarding, kayaking, skydiving, horse riding, ATVs. Just about everything. Not much of a nightlife here though, but people won't come to the island for that. So we're getting back in the airspace. I'm gonna turn off the mics, and we're coming down for a landing. So when we get on the ground, I'll let you know to take off your seatbelts and headsets. Don't open the doors. We'll open the doors for you all day today. You guys are actually going to be departing with the blade spinning. So you're just gonna walk straight out from the helicopter. Don't walk behind it or beside it, not in the grass. Straight out, stand on the numbers. The grass grows here so fast, they're always mowing it.